already embarrassed myself during this call.
Folks, I just started recording the session, so we're going to be starting pretty shortly. We're just a couple of minutes away. There's still a lot of people coming in, so Maja is going to be starting in just a couple of minutes, right?
And I'm so happy that Nina joined because I have her on the slides. To be embarrassing if nobody on the slides actually showed up for the sesh. I find it very hard to believe that like in the session when we are talking about LinkedIn, nobody pasted their profile. This is probably the first thing that I do when I attend the webinars, and I get at least 30 new connections if I do that. So I definitely encourage you to do that whenever you'll be ready.
That's so true. I've been to plenty of conferences with this woman and she does it every time. All right. All right, folks, I think we can get started. So my name is Jordana. I'm with GrowthHackers, and today I'm welcoming Maja Voje to talk about LinkedIn lead generation. I'd like for Maja to be able to introduce herself and then let us know how we're going to conduct this session today. Go with you, Maja.
Alrighty, let's take it off. Thanks again for everybody to like attending this session, no matter how late it is, where you are from. So we're going to make the best out of this, and this is how we're gonna roll. So I'll first move a little introduction. I'll show you some stats. Later on, we'll talk about LinkedIn profile optimization. I pre-selected some examples that I think represent a whale, a dolphin, and a Nemo fish. We'll do plenty more later on when we're having Q&A. So you will chance because you are on this call, and of course you should have a chance to have your profile roasted. We'll be going on in the chat later on, but I will share a couple of do's and don'ts of the profiles, because profile is your face on LinkedIn, and a lot of people, like 60% of people in B2B are conducting B2B research as we are getting there. Later on, we'll do into something which is called best practice creation for content marketing. So these are a couple of trends that my friends from the network have been projecting for this year. I am very, very, very pleased to represent them to you. Also my system, how do I generate the content myself for LinkedIn? Later on, we'll go to social selling, and you'll have plenty of possibilities to laugh or to make screenshots of the weird sales pitches that got to me or I'm sending out to the world. And last but not least, I hope to make this session as interactive as possible, because it's pretty weird to talk in the camera for an hour or more. So I hope to hear it from you as well. So let's get this rolling. My name is Maja Voje. I come from a little country called Slovenia, and I've been around since 2015 in growth hacking. In LinkedIn has been always very special place for me, because like daily I'm getting 5 or more leads from just like doing inbound. So I never do outbound myself. I do it for clients. But I had a chance to work with some of the pretty awesome companies, and this is the platform which I mainly use for business development. It's not necessarily so that I'm saying that. I just love to have conversations with people and develop the relationships with my network. So that's me in a nutshell. We'll hear more about you as we will be reviewing the LinkedIn profiles rather soon. And here are a couple of stats why everybody should be interested in LinkedIn even in 2022. So what I hear a lot in marketing is that people are just like talking about TikToks and whatnots of the world, but we are forgetting about these slower platforms, right? Platforms that are so significant and so important in B2B business. So whenever your boss is telling you that you should be like doing advertising on B2B, if you are selling injection molding, maybe you should have a little bit more common sense and just like utilize the channels that have been verified beforehand or not. whatever you want. But here is something that marketers suffer from, and it's called SOS, shiny new thing syndrome. So whenever something good comes along, we are just like immediately drawn to it, right? We get nervous, we get very hyped about this, and we are not very consistent in our efforts. And on LinkedIn, you have to be consistent to see its full power and results. Number of LinkedIn users is approaching to 800 million this year, and it's freaking phenomenal. It's not so fast growing as some of the other platforms, but it's not only for old people either. So I digged into the statistics, and the group which is like presented there in the majority are 25 to 33-year-olds, people who are like peaking in their career, and a lot of like decision makers. What I did find fascinating is that also a lot of millennials and like younger people, Gen Z, use the platform to their advantage as well, career-wise to start with, but later on, we all climb the ladder in the corporate and we'll get into decision-making positions. So not only for old people, that's important to notice here. The second thing that I actually got from Similar Web today is just like how widely engaged people on LinkedIn are. I was surprised to see that like in average within the session, we browse through more than like 6 or maybe even 7 pages on LinkedIn, and session duration is insane. If you have some experience with e-commerce, this is like the wet dream of attention, right? This is a really, really, really engaged sessions. And what I like about this personally is that like from all these users on LinkedIn, 40% of them are active on a monthly basis, out of which 40% are active on a daily basis, but lower than 1%, actually like the number is 0.6%, people actually create content there. So if you are creating content and if you are like proactively using LinkedIn, you have a large chance of organic reach, which is very rare opportunity in saturated and marketing-driven world of 2022. Don't want to bore you with too much stats, but just notice that in the developed world, more than 50% of people, adults who are working are on LinkedIn. And like the best country in the world, I think it's the Netherlands, where more than like 90% of people are active there. So wherever there isn't another strong like B2B platform such as Xing, for example, in Germany, you can reach mainly all the decision makers here. Again, it's the rise from a vertical to a vertical. So for example, if you are doing marketing to dentists or architects, it's not going to necessarily be so. But in the majority of cases, like the whatnots and movers and shakers are on LinkedIn. And this is especially so if you are dealing with Fortune or ANC 500 companies, because the only social media that they can use on their job is LinkedIn. Like seriously, those people are blocked from other social media networks. So it's just like insane that like in corporate America, you have more than 90% of employees checking out LinkedIn on a daily basis, which is something that I haven't seen elsewhere. And you know how hard it is to just like strive for the attention elsewhere. So this is where things happen. This is really, really, really incredible. And surprisingly or not, 60% of us are using LinkedIn for vetting our partners, our clients, our sellers. So whenever we are discussing this, and I really love those comics, we shouldn't be just like all the time searching for the next big thing or some fancy automation in marketing. It's our face in the world. People will be seeing it. So we have to invest into making it the best we can. Hope that I'm not missing anything in chat. Jordana, please remind me if we have a cool question popping up. But if you guys are networking, do that. Have a lot of new LinkedIn friends. You deserve them for being here, for spending time with us. I definitely encourage you to do that. So right now we'll go into 3 different strategies how to do like lead generations on LinkedIn. The first one is passive. So it's just your profile being there, just that you show up in a decent manner, not in your pajamas. That's important. The second one is for you to be active, to actually create content and engage with others. I would call that content marketing. And the third is what we call social selling. So to actually do business development and sales on LinkedIn. We'll go through each and every one of those models, and we'll discuss a couple of best practices and technique that we can use there. And of course, at the end, we'll have plenty of time to do Q&A as well. So if you Google your name and preferably are using VPNs like I do, so that you are not like with your local high school papers, you will see that LinkedIn is like literally one of the first hits that pop up. And here is a very interesting chart. So this is my LinkedIn traction in the last 90 days from my personal profile. This is the website traction. And you see that it's tremendously different. So in my purchasing cycle, I know that LinkedIn is way more important than my website, which I update maybe once a year, but for the rest, I have LinkedIn. It's interesting that it also correlates with my LinkedIn activities. So why it fell like for 17% since last week was because I was being extremely lazy and I was preparing for a huge workshop with a client from the Netherlands. So I haven't posted much, but overall, if I do, things will get better immediately. So you see that like whatever I'm doing on LinkedIn also resonates very nicely on my website as well. So it's kind of a multiple touch point ecosystem. And here we'll get you warm up a little. So from everybody that submitted a profile, I pre-selected 3 people that in my opinion, nicely represent what I call a LinkedIn whale, a LinkedIn dolphin, and a LinkedIn Nemo. So what is a whale? These are really strong profiles. These are like opinion leaders. I would literally pay them to share my content. Dolphin is somebody with a lot of potential, somebody who's working hard, but still has like a little bit room to grow. Yes, Nina, you're a dolphin. And Nemo is somebody who is, in my opinion, not represented in such an awesome manner that they maybe are as professionals. And we'll learn through 3 examples of people that submitted a profile. Remember, you still have plenty of chance to be roasted as we will get there, but just like to get on the same page here. So here I selected Adrian. As you see, Adrian utilizes freaking everything. He has a pretty profile, a background picture. He even made like a video that we can watch just to get his energy, his personal float. He changed his profile to content creator. He has like 15,000 followers, which is more than I do. I'm jealous, Adrian. And yeah, he's just like getting the best out of this profile. He's sharing like numbers here. He's playing around with brands. He even put his email in the description here, which is something that makes it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, same as with the landing pages. Like, what can Adrian do for me? And just like here, I understand that he can help me with technical recruiting, and I know immediately how to contact him without necessarily having to scroll for the rest of his profile, which I think is genius. He used the featured section. I don't necessarily like the visuals, so I like to have people represented here on the visuals, but that's okay. Here, what I will do is just like to see if his profile posts get a lot of attention and a lot of liking. So what I don't like here is that these things doesn't have any likes, but since it involves pictures of children, this is apparently a good thing. I will give him a like. So he's sharing a lot of things also from his company, but they are not like necessarily good enough. So my advice for Adrian would be to just like double down on content marketing as well, because like with terms of profile, he's already a stat and he's convincing in terms of brands, in terms of all the features and as well as numbers that he's using. Here we see that the last recommendation is from 2020, but he does have like bunch load of social media. So these skills represented, so social proof is represented well. So I would say that Adrian is a whale, but I would advise him to do better content updates. Apparently Adrian is not here, otherwise he would already protest in the chat. Alrighty, next we have Nina, who is with us on the call. So happy. So your profile picture is lovely, but your background picture doesn't communicate with me. I just see something which could be like writing or a creative process, and I get to caught myself staring in a cup of coffee. So in terms of like just this real estate, which is so valuable, I think that this space could be used much better. Then I see that you are like really international, that you have a lovely title here. I don't see like necessarily your professional specialization, which was social media, as I revised your profile, but I don't get a grasp of it in the first 5 seconds as I am reviewing your profile. So if you are up for some freelance work or consulting, this is something that you could be emphasizing more here, which is fantastic. And what I love about your profile is how much traction are you getting. So in terms of content creation, you're a freaking rock star. Let's have a look of your posts. So I'll go here and you see that here you got like almost 200 reaction, which is fantastic. Everything that you put is like super personal. There is a lot of you in the pictures, and that's resonating beautiful with your audience. I very much like that. In terms of content creation, you're nailing it. Last but not least, we will dive through like these thingies, and you see here that I am responsible for, I don't know that, and rarely do I click more. So make the best use out of the first 2 lines that you have here, and make sure to show your wow stats at this part of the section here, which would be much more impactful. Here with Futura, I bet that you had like a lot of really awesome clients, and they are represented here. Why did you hide them from me? Why did you make me click see more? It's something that should stand out immediately. So that would be something that I would very, very much like to do. You have like a bunch of other experience. For me, like for a person of your age, that's a lot of working experience, definitely. So as you will getting more mature, you might want to consider dropping some of more junior and student association position out and like keeping it more in the separate section. The rest is like really awesome. I would like to have see more of those credentials here, maybe for TikTok or just like Facebook Blueprint, which I know that you can do. So that would be something that we could work on together. Then you have these skills in a nicely displayed fashion. I don't know if you still want to be known for event planning, so maybe reconsider changing the order. Let's see if you have done this before. No, you haven't. So top 3 are displayed here, and this is what you want to be known for. And honors and rewards and test scores, of course, that's your prerogative to say so. But yeah, you're doing one hell of a job, and you will only get better with the time. But here's my lesson for you. Don't let me click more, because otherwise, if I'm not roasting profiles, I'm very, very lazy as a person and I won't do it. So show me immediately 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How can you help me? And what are your wow stats? Why should I trust that you are the best person for the job? Right. Nina, I hope you're happy with this roast. I'm usually much nicer in person, but roasting comes with a certain attitude. Cool, cool, cool. Last but not least, we have Ryan. I don't know if he's in the call, but it was a very interesting profile to see for me, because apparently this person is very established. Check this out, guys. So he's an instructor at Skillshare, and he has been doing digital marketing for a very long time. But like, if I just take a glimpse of his profile, I don't see that, right? So he's missing important real estate, such as like background picture, featured activities, and like more traction that he could be using. He's missing like newer recommendations from clients, because the last one is from 2014. And if I had to contact Ryan for something digital marketing related, I would be in serious concerns whether he's like still on top of his game, if he's still working, because that profile, if I vetted him from here without seeing his website and courses, it wouldn't fill me with confidence. And this is what we want to do. We want to fill people with confidence, and we want to make sure that they know that we are the best person for the job to help them out with everything. So this was like in a glimpse, a couple of profile rows that I did beforehand. I selected them because this one is freaking great and just like needs more work with content. She rocks at content. She's just like a little bit hiding her wow stats from us from unknown reasons. And this is definitely a climber, and Ryan has some work to do, but very, very, very solid fundamentals. I think that he can get it done in a weekend or even less time. So that's it when it comes to like LinkedIn profile roasting. Before we jump onto you in the next section, remember that what we want to do here on LinkedIn, and I love to use this analogy here, it's called LEO, LinkedIn Engine Optimization. So you need to include the keywords that you want to be discoverable from. Some of the people even put them in the URL, but definitely put it here, like in your tagline, if you haven't already, because this is something that we need to be indexed for in order to get search traffic. Remember, out of 2,500 people that found me on LinkedIn in the last 90 days, 400 of them did that via search, probably for growth hacking or some of my related skills. So it's important to use this keyword utilization that you can have. The very last thing that I want to focus on here are 5 absolute must-dos on your LinkedIn profile. So about default, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are you interesting to me? This is what you should be optimizing to, like, make me care that what you can do for me in 5 seconds. Otherwise, I won't be inclined to scroll further. Include numbers and your most prominent stats. I did that on my cover picture to just like immediately signal people that I am in it to win it, that I'm working with some serious companies. Have a clear call to action, like we saw with the guy that we were analyzing before. So his name was Adrian. So how you can be contacted, for what opportunities are you open, and nevertheless, never neglect social proof. Social proof is so important. As we see with the last example, Ryan, I was a little bit skeptical because the last recommendation that he had was from freaking 2014, and this is not world as we live in right now. So that's it. Make sure that you are using all these 6 principles of persuasion. If you don't know what principles of persuasion are, I'm literally jealous at you, and you should Google that immediately because it's one of the best books that you will ever read. So make sure that your profiles are aligned to this logic as well, and you'll do great. The very last thing that I kind of fucked up this week, and I want to share it with you, is because like practically 60% of people are using LinkedIn from mobile devices, not accounting for all the people who are using it from their native mobile app. You should be optimizing for mobile. So whenever you are investing your time in mobile optimization, when I first did this cover picture in Canva, logos were not displayed on mobile. And that would be a huge mistake. If I hadn't tested on mobile as well, I would be losing this possibility to signal 60% of my audience, which is like really bad. And we should be testing on mobile as we are doing profile optimization. That's supremely important. Definitely make time to do that before, because otherwise you're losing 60% of your chances to just display this awesome traction that you have to other people. And we can do more roasts at this occasion because we are 20 minutes in and I would like to have some interaction going on from your side. If you will be taking the course that we have with GrowthHackers, I do like these LinkedIn roasts for each and every student that finishes a certain percentage of the course. So when I invite you to send me an email and LinkedIn message to get you roasted, but I want to give you a little bit of flavor how this looks like right now. So whoever will post his LinkedIn profile in the chat right now will get roasted without any question. Fuck yeah. You're in it to win it. Cool. We'll do 1, 2. Oh, we'll do 2. We'll see. Cool, 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 cool. So hello, Kyle. Open to helping. Wow, that's an interesting thing to have. So win the battle of your customers. Is that a book that you wrote? I'm not even sure, but yeah, it's talking something to me, but I don't know how to make it actionable for me. So owner of White Buffalo, brand differentiation expert. I like that. Now you're talking to me. I'm very much into positioning, helping you win the market war. Ooh, war is a pretty strong and loaded word. You should be careful when you're communicating this in the US because you might be talking wrong to the veteran community. So be careful of the wording that you are using here, that it's inclusive. I know it's not problematic in Europe, but I have heard something about wartime leadership in the US. So just like as a little side favor to you. Okay, cool. I still don't know what Buffalo could do to me. So picture a field, a field of buffalo. Cool. Imagine a buffalo as a competitor. Oh my God, I love this language. You must be resonating with some people really well. But yeah, from here, I don't know what Buffalo could be doing for me. Is that brand differentiation expert? Are you running workshops? I'm too lazy to read everything. So maybe you're a book author, just like help me out here and make me think, frame me a little bit what you can do for me. So you have a couple of posts featured here, but for me these are very unpopular posts. These are like 20 something likes, which is not something that would be stellar for me. You can of course like interchange and like change the featured links, but that's something that you will have to play around with. So what I miss from the upper part of the profile is your popularity, so that people actually are caring about what you're doing, right? So that more people resonate with your message. And you haven't successfully displayed me this in this section just yet. But here I see that you are trying to download, to get me download a free book, which I would be very much inclined to do if you told me that more directly, which is cool. Here you have to utilize this real estate to just like make sure that two displayed lines here project your strongest messages, because it's very unlikely that I will click see more. You are losing real estate here, as you would be linking your free books or your lead magnets. This is some visual space that you can do. And as you know, people get immediately drawn to the visuals, not text. And just like here in terms of buffaloes and content and email strategies, right? So what I would like to hear from you is, how can Kyle help me? And I think a beautiful example for that is this awesome French guy. So Louise G. Maybe I cannot find him. Cool. So the website is Everybody Hates Marketers, and it's a brilliant podcast. And he's using the concept of radical differentiation, stand the fuck out. And that message really resonates with his folks. He's doing one hell of a job there. And here I'm moving further to the social proof. So what I like to see here are skills over 100. And you definitely have more room for the additional endorsement from your teams or your clients. And you know that you are getting some hit for that. You have old recommendations here. What I want to see here is Kyle helped me to stand out on a very like fucked up B2B market, and I did attract new customers. I won some new leads because I use this Buffalo differentiation method. This is what I want to get out of you. You're welcome. Next one, we'll do Eduardo as well. Head of Marketing at Web, one-on-one, B2B, SaaS, growth and performance, MSc in persuasive communication. He picked it with keywords. This is awesome. Cool. Right, so you got it very strong, Eduardo, in terms of the keywords. But again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Head of Marketing, B2B, SaaS. I mean, that is a little bit ambiguous to me. So I see growth and performance and marketing. So from what I imagine here is that you are running ads for B2B companies. If I'm mistaken with that, you could have like a little bit of a tweak here from just like me trying making sense of what you can do in order to help me. So strategies, mind, creative card. Ooh, you have a lot to do here. You're of course means the feature section, in which you could be displaying some of your blog posts, some of your feature posts, some of your work that you have done. Because if you are portraying as a creative, what I see here is like a very generic picture of some vectors. You haven't really convinced me that you are creative by this point. Here, of course, you can like link additional links and you can play around with this one. What I'm missing here, if you are talking about about performance, I want to see numbers, your key achievements, something that you have been doing for the company, something that would fill me with hope that you are the right guy to do the job. I see this here, but it's 360 marketing thingies. So what I'm interested here is like ROI and what is the increase of the sales, what is the increase of the leads won or something like that. For all the performers, I want to see like what is the key difference and what is the key differentiation, as we have here. University of Amsterdam, congratulations, sir. Ghent University, very nice place as well. And Barcelona, awesome. So For older people, I don't like to see, sorry, I called you old. I'm old as well. I'm 35. But like for experienced professionals, I like to see here like more profound certification than LinkedIn learning, right? I think it's good as you are starting, but if you finished like some sort of fancier training with some university, I would very much rather see that in terms of licenses and certification than those widely available stuff from the internet. So for example, GrowthHackers or Oxford, or like if you have done some stuff from the university as well. When it comes to skills, you have to have your buddies and upvote that for a sec. But I already see that you have probably reverted the order a little bit because redes sociales, all right, you need profile in multiple languages. So you could be doing profile, which is multilingual if you are having this sort of power. And here I only see one recommendation, and it is very generic. I enjoyed working digital strategy. It's not talking about like a friend could write this for me. So it's not saying anything tangible about business. Courses, I see this association with health, cool. If you have some sort of compliance training done, write that. This is a very important differentiator as well. So you speak, how many languages? All right, congratulations, sir. You beat me. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I would like to see more numbers if you are talking about the performance, and I'm missing the creative, the funkier start of you. And I definitely recommend you to do like a multiple lingual profile. Let's check out how we are doing on the time. We're great. We are half an hour in and we roasted 5 profiles already. We will have time to roast some more. But beforehand, we have to talk about content creation. I'm very much tempted. Sorry?
Maja, there's a few questions in the chat, if I can read those to you.
Yeah, sure. We can do that as well. Let's do it. And then we will continue so that we will have an additional slot for roasting.
Wonderful. So there's a question from Raida. Our team is more of an introverted one, so we're pretty resistant to using our own names for branding purposes. What do you recommend here? Hire extroverts.
Extroverts are a pain in the ass. No, what we usually do when we are dealing with technology companies is that we either record them and write blog posts, whatever they are familiar with, and that we kind of find one person who is less reluctant and make a success case out of them, and then like other people jump on board as well. I did a lot of like work with developer teams. I heard this like argument again and again, but I was always convincing them like, what are the benefits, right? Are the benefits like employer branding? Will you get better peers? Will you be like perceived as an opinion leader by your colleagues? We can talk about like very professional stuff. So my only advice here is start with one within the format that they are comfortable with, and it might be a written format to start with, and make sure to communicate these wins. All right, Jordana, what next do you have for me?
So Kyle asked about that gentleman that you called, you dubbed a whale, Adrian. So with all the followers that Adrian had, why do you think that his contents rarely get any likes?
So maybe he's a victim of automations, and we'll talk about automation. So some people just like hook on like LinkedIn helper or something like that to their profile. So they are adding irrelevant people to their profile. That happens a lot. And of course, these people are not interacting well with the content because the audience is not well done organically. Not saying that that's necessarily the case, but I've seen that in practice again and again. Other than that, maybe he's not doing enough of the analysis and just like make notes, mental notes of what type of content performs well, and do more of that. So maybe he's just like documenting his life without necessarily getting the feedback loop. So that would be my 2 guesses in his case. But very nice. Love the question.
And last one from Danny. In your opinion, do you think LinkedIn profiles shouldn't be just related to work? I mean, should I have some personal posts as well to have more viewers? Where's the border?
So this year I started to go full professional, because before, you know, if you put a pretty picture of yourself in a blazer, you attract a lot of attention, but the bottom line is it's not the right type of attention, right? So what I'm craving for here are relevant leads who engage with content, not like because I'm a blonde person wearing a blazer. That's very important to me. I think it's important to be honest and just like talk about struggles at work. So for example, work-life balance or burnout, or just like what's going on in terms of recruitment crisis, how difficult it is to find people. Those subjects are okay, but I wouldn't go and like paste the picture of my dog. My dog is a hit on LinkedIn, because you know, it's still a professional network. So definitely test it out, see how it resonates, what kind of attention it is getting, but do stay professional, because just like piggybacking on a pretty looks and just like general bullshit, such as I used to work so hard, now I found my inner peace and I trust in God. I don't know if you want to be known for that. You would get attention, but in terms of lead generation, not necessarily. Everybody has their own story, but that's my opinion as you asked for it.
So there's a couple of more questions from Miklas. He says that he's not very keen on social. So should do you think that for his case, should the marketing team them write content for him, and could they maybe get him to use LinkedIn profile to share this content?
Yeah, so with the CEOs, we do this a lot of times. What we love to organize are like weekly or monthly recording days. So leaders talk about a certain subject, we record them. Sometimes video if they are okay with performance and speaking in English. The rest we can just like transcript and reshape them as blog posts. So we do that for a lot of directors and CEOs, because they don't necessarily have the time and the willpower in order to do that. But as you will see good traction, I do encourage you to just like spend more time and talk about your personal perspectives, right? Because if you are being really generic, like it's so important to say people that you appreciate their work. Saying hi makes you the best boss ever. I mean, that's generic stuff. To be like perceived as a really profound leader and to have your unique voice to communicate your culture well, you should at least brief whoever is creating content for you, so that you won't end up with some vanilla stuff.
Maja, there are a few more questions, but they're more about content. I feel like you should maybe move that part and then
let's do the content section, and then I'm happy to answer more questions. But I thank you from the bottom of my heart that you are being engaged. That's important. I very much love to answer the questions, but again, these are my opinions and my experiences. So this is what you're getting. If you're not liking the answers, cool. We'll go to the content creation part right now. And the question that I get asked again and again all the time is, well, how many times a week and when should we post? My recommendations to companies is always to do it 2 or 3 times a week. And when it comes to timings are bullshit, because if you are working across like multiple time zones, it's impossible to predict that. So you can only know that by analyzing your own data, and of course having common sense that maybe like on Monday, busy mornings, things are not gonna perform as well as if, for example, you are posting a job on Friday, because everybody has time to update their CVs on between the weekend. So there's definitely not a clear no-no of what you shouldn't be doing. Be thoughtful, be purposeful about what you're trying to achieve. For me, like Wednesday is always a great week. I usually do them in the lunchtime in the Europe, but it's like if I have been working throughout other section, things haven't been performing incredibly different. So for me, it's always like content and initial engagement before like these scientific shits, especially if you are doing working from multiple time zones. There isn't a single recipe and you should figure it out yourself. But what I like to say, my teams, when they are beginning, avoid Mondays, avoid Fridays, and especially if you don't have time to engage in the weekends, don't do weekends as well, because the post will do as well as you get it done like within first hour or so in terms of comments and likes. That was my fair recommendation to you guys. Now I will present 3 trends that I think will stick around throughout 2022. The first trend is from Dave Gerald, and it's like portraying founder, entrepreneur as a hero. He's launching a book, I think this week or next week. He has like an amazing lead gen campaign about this. And it's all about this personal storytelling, right? Whoever does it the best, I think, in my opinion, is the founder of Gymshark. So check out Gymshark and his CEO's LinkedIn. It's fire. It's the best. It's so good. Pip from CXL Institute does an amazingly well job as well. So portraying founder and documenting their learnings and their story is something that resonates beautifully on LinkedIn, because as we were addressing this question before, how personal should we be getting? These are stuff that matters, especially if they are firsthand experience, not generic bullshit like I used to be introvert, now I love LinkedIn, okay? Fair enough. The second trend that I want to leave you with are value bombs. So check out this guy, Chris Walker, best videos ever. Each and every one of his videos have more than like 500 likes. He's, don't tell my husband, but so good looking. So he holds the microphone all the time and he has like really deep and profound voice. He nailed his format, like he's beautiful and wonderful to listen to, and he always keeps like a huge transcript of what he said and like a very nice up to like 4 or 3 minutes video clip. This is literally learning. Like I would pay this guy to read his LinkedIn posts. I seriously would. He's sharing value bombs and he's the best. Like for me, he's the best content creator on the platform right now from the ones that I am monitoring. And the third trend is EGC and call. We call it call in Slavic language. What the hell does that mean? EGC is employee generated content and call means key opinion leaders. John Cutler, very important character on LinkedIn. He's a head or like evangelist of product education at Amplitude, and check out his posts. He's doing like really simple slides or like even maybe mirror screenshots. And those things go like monstrously well. He's like giving those snapshots of what it means to work in a product and what to tackle with analytics or even teamwork or something like that. And he's another really smart dude, an introvert, by the way, who just like documented his scientific discovery and his pets. And for Amplitude, the company, he does EGC, employee generated content. Like his work portrays the Amplitude system beautifully. And at the other time, he's key opinion leader. So he's the type of guy that I would hire in order to speak at the event or like promote my solution, which might be compatible with Amplitude. And I see that going on a lot, like it's getting so important. Things like B2B influencer exists. Why? Because I'm one of them. And companies approach you to co-create like the content with them, to write reviews and to just like coach their employees or something like that. So whatever you're doing, personal brands wise on LinkedIn could have monetary impact for you elsewhere outside your job. And whatever like large corporate that I'm working with right now, we are actively searching for B2B influencers, from community members for employer branding to the ones that we know that have relevant decision-making power. So in terms of association or something like that, and some serious money is being exchanged down this line. Cool. Last but not least, I personally spend 2 to 3 hours a week messing around on LinkedIn. So on Sunday, I spend 1 hour writing posts and just like reflecting on a content. On LinkedIn, content like long form content usually performs the best. If you're not some savvy designer or some like wizard of quotes, this is probably your best chance to write long form quotes, and always like make sure that you are including a visual as well. Test it like just long text without visual and long text plus visual, and you'll see the results for yourself. I do spend a lot of time growing my network as well without any automations, because I would just like to snowball from the people that I am very much interested in and people that I'm approached to. And I do analyze what works well and what doesn't work well. And I did have to make some very powerful decisions in my life not to post my pictures in blazers anymore on LinkedIn to get over 200 likes, because that's not smart for lead generation. In the course that you might be taking, I'm explaining this concept to the grounds. Like I'm literally giving analytical templates, content creation templates, literally everything. So if you want to copy from like the way how I do things, you have a full blueprint if you take the course. Cool. Jordana, we are ready for some more questions.
Awesome. All right. So let me get back to those. Do the same principles apply to growing your business page?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And when it comes to business pages, the business pages have like, since I have measured around 20 times less reach than strong personal profiles. So whenever we are building up companies pages as well, we are doing that by leveraging a couple of influencers in the company as well, because company pages will inevitably get smaller reach. So whatever I try to do at the beginning is to get like pages to first 100 real followers, and then leverage employees and their personal networks in order to get further, as well as working with key opinion leaders, so to have videos from them or just like have their endorsement. But in the principle, things are very, very, very similarly done.
So Ian also says in his question that they have a lot of high quality video content, and he's wondering how to create an industry group to share it organically.
So how the industry would share this content organically? Ian, sorry, can you repeat?
So do the same principles apply to growing our business page? We have a lot of high quality video content, wondering if we should create an industry group to share it organically. So if Ian, if you're here, if you wanna
yeah. The LinkedIn groups are really tricky. So they are not well displayed in the feed, and you don't get a lot of notifications in the like in your feed. So for me, Facebook groups works wonderfully. LinkedIn groups, like I was once so desperate that I sent everybody who's a member of the group manually an email to check out a post that I had on LinkedIn group. I know it's getting a little bit better, but that wouldn't be my first breath. So what I would do first is chop those videos into mini clips, like we saw in this example of Chris, and see how they takes off organically. Before I would invest into anything further, I would just like try to make sure that this type of videos resonates with the target audience. That would be the first experiment that I would do personally.
There's another question from Miklas. What kind of analytics should be used to track LinkedIn?
LinkedIn. No, I connected like with Supermetrics, and I did like Google Data Studio because it's prettier for the clients, but I do have a lot of people who are doing this manually. It's just important to be consistent. So page analytics, and just like if you have premium analytics on your personal profile, should be a good start. Otherwise, I'm again scheduling the posts, because I personally still believe, and that might be heresy, that those posts get smaller reach.
So there's a question from Eduardo. Is there a way to test what is the best content format in LinkedIn? Is either podcast, article, video?
So you said it, Eduardo. Test, try multiple formats. So what works for me are carousels, and I know that I suck at pronouncing this word, but yeah, like things that you swipe, you know, and PDFs that you import, very nice. Those get like up to 40% click-through rate, which is great for engagement. So that has been working wonderful for me. In terms of articles, I wasn't that bullish on them, but yeah, there are some best practices to test there as well. So the advice, the ball that I'm throwing back to you is test, play around with multiple formats and see what works best for your audience. Because if you are so videogenic, such as Chris, for example, you will do great videos. If you are somebody who's like, and I really think that people at work should, then it won't let like, then things would blend better if you just write them down. So pay attention of what's your natural profile, format, and what resonates well with your audience. But those things that the video algorithm would push further video or something like that are utter bullshit. I've tested that myself.
All right. Let me just find the next question here.
10 minutes to go.
Should leaders follow their personal brand or the brand guidelines themselves, tone, language, designs from the brand?
No, I think that it should be like a proprietary thing. So you can use element of your brand, but people love authenticity. And just like as a personal profile, you can have more freedom. You can have like more liberty. You can have more fun creating this content. Of course, if your PR hunts you around that your content is portraying bad language of the company, you should reconsider that. But I'm sure that you are smarter than this.
Right. Folks, if you have any more questions, I think those are the main ones from the chat.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Love questions. Keep us engaged. And this is what we're here for. To talk about actual lead gen, how we do prospecting, and how do we proactively use social selling. First option is to just like post that you have some sort of a vacancy or a new program or something like that. And I did make like 30,000 euros per post when we were launching new courses and new cohorts. So to these days, this still works if you have well-nurtured audience, and it is the easiest thing that you can do to just like let people know that you are open for business. All right. A lot of people don't do that, but it's important to do that because people might not know that you are open for business. So whenever you have some sort of opportunities, make sure that you can do that. The second one is quick and dirty marketing plan, which I like to call Ghetto CRM, Ghetto style CRM. That is my partner Simon and I mess out around with this word as well. So we had a challenge this week and we were selling this product scaling cohort. The program costs, I think, 4,000 euros per individual and 6,000 euros per team. And we created a lead list of companies that we would like to address. And I literally went and manually wrote an outreach emails to just like how we would be delighted if they would consider this program, that we think it's a great fit for them. Why this was successful? Because like I was using personalized angles, and here, I don't know if that is evident, but whenever like people are just like asking short questions or portraying something which is like potentially interesting to me business-wise, on LinkedIn, you get way higher response rates. And if you are using like LinkedIn emails, that's wonderful as well, because they get opened 20 times more often than just like regular emails that are spam that we usually shy away from and can't wait to get rid of. So these are a couple of very, very, very good examples that you can do. You can simply use the advanced search. So what you need to have is just like this Ghetto style CRM to just like trying to figure it out who would be a good target persona for your lead generation program and write personalized emails. If you are more advanced, you will be using LinkedIn Sales Navigator or other automated solution, but make sure that you are pitching people on like more personalized level, because the next slide that I will show you here, we're skipping out. I hated this. I hated this. This is a block report. This is a block report for me. It's like somebody sent me a file. Is this file infected? Like, what the hell am I getting this? Do we have any relations going on? Like, it's such a shitty email. It's just this spam in my life that I want to get rid of. It's not bringing any value to me whatsoever. And why should that person take minutes or even seconds of my attention to just like trying to project me content pillars on LinkedIn without me showing any interest in this whatsoever? On the other side, here is a good pitching email, Sydney. So she pitched us for Amplitude actually to be featured for guests at product-led podcasts. And as she mentioned it, and I'm always like looking for great guests, like as she presented it, I was just like, yeah, here's my Calendly, steal me a slot. I'm able to give you half an hour for your pitch, because she knows the podcast and she has something to contribute. And this is convincing to me. So I'm interested in how can you help me and why is this relevant for me? This is what we need to do here when we are crafting these messages. And the slide that I jumped in between those rants was the advertising part. So people are complaining again and again that links on LinkedIn are way too expensive, but as we run multiple tests with higher budgets, so you can only do advertising on LinkedIn if you have like 2,000 euros to spare. Just like with 50 euros or something like that, it's impossible to get any traction because a click can cost you like 5 euros or $5 or more. But as you have larger budgets and the algorithm knows you better, you are able to close more leads via LinkedIn advertising than with other tools. And just this week, I had an example of somebody like spending 2,000 euros promoting their webinar on Facebook. And from 2,000 euros, they only generated 47 leads. This is worse than we would be doing campaigns on LinkedIn. So don't be like very set on your beliefs of what is expensive per click or not. Just like try the platform out and see how much does it actually cost you to convert a lead, because at the end of the day, we bosses are not paying us to deliver riches and cost per clicks, but to bring new business to the ecosystem. So that was the advertising part. I know that like targeting can be a little bit awkward for larger companies that I work with. They usually spend 30,000 euros for licenses for LinkedIn Sales Navigator, which is something that we have like onboarding from LinkedIn itself, and just like somebody who trains their team. But just as you are starting out, like this Gito style CRM and just like being a decent person is usually like something that would help you and will help you do that. So I'm not a huge believer in outbound cold as an ice, apart from like if my eye sparkles that I have a great opportunity and that somebody actually cares about my business and my success as well. I'm not very likely to respond to those pitches. Probably I would be reporting you before you would get an answer out of me. But that's my personal preference. People have that different habits, but do know that like daily leaders get like 100, 200 emails, and what we want to is filter out information which is irrelevant for us. So make it them relevant to get like the attention of the decision makers that you want to follow. Last but not least, I'm not a huge fan of automations. Some of them work amazingly well, and I have amazing friends using them. But since I'm working a lot with health tech and pharma as well, I would never, ever, ever risk my profile to be banned or like I couldn't access it because of the automation thing. Is anti-fraud detection is becoming better and better. So optionally, you can try those options, of course, but I personally must not use them because my actions and my profiles need to remain compliant for the larger work that I'm having. And also I like to keep a good relationship with LinkedIn and like everybody who works there, because at the end of the day, like fool me once, it's on you, fool me twice, it's on me. So yeah, that's my personal take on it. But yeah, a lot of my friends who are very savvy business developers use automations. I personally do not want to do that because of ethical and professional reasons. And that's pretty much it for today. We have 5 minutes for either roasts or questions. Whenever you want to do it, that's fine. And here is a lovely discount that Jordana and the team at GrowthHackers did for the course that we have together. So the LinkedIn lead generation masterclass, in which you have 6.5 hours materials, so premium interviews, also like about LinkedIn advertising and everything. It's a magnificent course. I'm updating it really, really, really frequently. So if you wanna, you can grab it this weekend, 10% off with the code webinar10. Jordana is, can you multitask, Jordana? Of course you can, you're a woman. So of course, now I will ask you to share the link in the chat, and to also make sure that we spend the best time out of the 4 remaining minutes that we have together.
I think folks want to go for some more roasts. The links are in the chat, Maja.
Let's do it. 1 or 2, love. I will do Lara because we haven't, Laura, sorry, because shit, what did you, I want Laura. He's my boss. Good one. Good one. Okay, cool. All righty, let's spend a couple of minutes. All right. So accidentally, Laura, you totally misguided me here. Who said do me? Roaster. Yeah, I like it. I always appreciate people with good sense of humor. Cool, alrighty. So that's the boss, Local West. I don't know what Local West does. Talks about Merancore veteran. Veteran, very nice. So yeah, logistic is a very, very, very important field. Veteran, I think it's a wonderful thing to add here because oh shit, is he a veteran because he has been in the industry so long, or is he in the military? I'm a little bit confused. So if he's a real veteran, I would say thank you for your service. If he's just like a silver fox in the industry, yeah, this word is something that could be a little bit trippy. From Naples. I was there last February. It was freaking, oh, Naples, Florida, that is, forget it. So yeah, here you have a couple of, these words are probably not very, very, very look forward. So I would, veterans helping veterans, here's a real veteran. So that's amazing. Then I would just like differentiate here that it's not related to the industry, but that's freaking amazing. I have a lot of military family myself. So I invest in the American big dream. Every building begins with an idea. Wow. Yeah, I don't understand this. If he's into real estate, I am looking for pictures of some pretty houses and the opportunities featured that would I would be expected here. So here, Local West, I don't like it. This is like shouting on the internet. This should be rewritten or like helped as many people to get new homes or something like that. I don't necessarily understand this profile. Investments, say that not all promising return on investment, but just like maybe like the amount of money that the company is managing or something like that would fill me with confidence. United States Naval Academy. Nice. So no recommendations here. Help him out here with getting his skills endorsed by team members, getting recommendations like happy customers, publishing some like opportunities that are here, and just like trying to quantify the portfolio better. So that was it. Now we'll do Juan, and then we are off for today. So Juan is into sustainability. It's, oh my God, partnerships, social impact, growth hacking, United Nations. That's interesting. Former diplomat. Okay, cool. So it's too much stuff. I don't know what to focus on. I can comprehend up to 5. So make me care what are the 5 most important ones, and that's it. So like when it comes to like United Nations or something like that, you have this space to work with. You can portray this beautifully here, so you can spare some space on that. Sports and enthusiastic photographer, do I care about this? Not necessarily in a business world, but some people write that here as well, so that's your personal choice. Over 12 years of international multicultural experience, rather low LinkedIn activity here for 1,000 followers. So posts should be more engaging, but you do post a lot. So maybe that's a problem. Colombian Chamber of Commerce, nice. So you're resharing things, and things that are reshared will automatically get a smaller reach. You are sharing links and events, and what you did here is this native content, which is always like preferred by an algorithm. So do more of stuff which is like from your profile, and less sharing and external links. That is always rewarded by the algorithm. So this is something that you can benefit from immediately. Other than that, I just don't know, like, are you trying to invite me to some events, or like, what are you trying to, what's the next thing that you would like me to do after I visit your profile? And we are already connected, which is great. Head of global partnerships, volunteers. So yeah, I'm just missing this clear call to action here, and some sort of just like maybe brands or accomplishments or medals or whatever is going on in the United Nations. I don't know that. But other than that, like the profile is really, really, really well taken care of. So this is something that I very much like. Needs more social proof. As always, there is not enough social proof, never, but you have done a nice job here in the recommendation section. For that, I congratulate you. But if you have some sort of honors or some sort of achievements which will be more prominent, it's just like one from looking at your profile, I don't know what to do next. So should I be pinging you? I want to speak at this embassy's event, or like, can I volunteer as a mentor for your community or something like that? The funnel is missing. So try to figure that out. And that, my friends, conducts our session for today. Hope you had fun. I'm sure I did. Hope that was awesome and dynamic and interactive for you as well. I enjoyed your questions a lot. Jordana, did we do well?
Yes, thank you, Maja. Thank you so much for everyone who joined. So we're going to wrap up this recording, and then you're all going to get a copy in your email later on, all right?
I'm sorry for the people who haven't joined us because we had fun. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thanks for spending awesome time with us. Rock your LinkedIn game and hope you win.
Thank you so much, everyone. Goodbye.
Ciao, Mark. Bye.